Hello and welcome back. In this tutorial you'll be learning everything to do with lighting effects. This is also covered in your PDF manual, Studio Magic 2 Chapter 5 Lighting Effects. So let's get started. First we're going to start with color match. You've got source here, global or local. Global will affect the whole image. Local is when you've got somebody cut out, and we're going to get into that later. So to warm this image up, I click on Create. Now if I want to make it warmer, I'm going to move the slider up here, the intensity slider, update. So as we can see here, the color match adjustment layer comes with a mask. So as we know, painting on a mask with black, we can remove any of that from the image. So if I wanted to paint on here, I'm painting at 50%, but if you go over it a couple of times, it will remove that color from anywhere in the image where you're painting. Now if I want to switch and paint it back in, you press X. And now, I'll make the brush nice and big. You can move it up to 100%. You could bring it all back in. So simply by painting with black and white on the layer mask, you've got complete control. Let's review the cooling on a different image. So I'm going to click on Create. So once again, we've got the layer mask. It's a bit strong on her face. I've got the opacity at 57% here. I'm just going to paint some of it away from her clothes and her face. And of course you can always lower the intensity, update. Let's see how the custom color works. Click on the color picker here and local. Now she's been cut out and removed from her background using the Studio Magic cutout panel. So to make her match the background here, we click on the color picker and you go in, you make a selection of the color that you want to match her to. I'm going to go into this area up here, click OK, and then Create. And if you want to increase the intensity, bump it up a bit, update. Let's look at rays, beams and bursts. I'm going to minimize this. So I'm going to click into the presets here. You've got quite a number of different presets to choose from. I'm going to select this one up here, click OK, Create. Now I'm going to resize it, update, and drop the intensity back, blur it a bit, update. Now I'm going to reposition it. Got the move tool selected, auto select group. Now I can just click in here and drag it down. Now you can also, after you've repositioned it, use the free transform tool, Control or Command T, if you want to change the angle of it at all. I want to move it over here a bit. Enter. I'm going to drop the intensity back a bit more, blur it a bit more, update. So just by working these sliders and clicking on update, you can get it exactly how you want it. Now you could also add a layer mask to this group, and with a nice soft brush, I've got it at about 40% here, you could paint away or blend in the light ray with the sky in the background there. So let's take a few seconds to review some before and after images using the light rays. So as you can see, you can drop a light ray in anywhere, edit it. You've got complete creative control over exactly where it goes, and it really makes a huge difference in these images when you see the before and after. Let's return to Photoshop. Now with this image, the sunset has been added, and that's under Enviro, so you can watch the movie on that. And I've also done a paint with light that's available in Studio Magic 1. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to add a light burst. So I'm going to go to the presets, I'm going to scroll down to the spreading burst, select that, OK, Create, and the spreading burst has been added. Now I'm going to go to color match. I'm going to match the color of the beam with the background here. And we can turn off the light brush here. I'm going to click inside there. You can go inside here and find a color that's close to it. Click OK. So you want to make sure that the spreading burst layer here is selected. I'm going to increase the intensity up to around the 90% mark, and make certain that you click on Local, Create. If you want to reduce the intensity, you can do that by just reducing the intensity slider here, update. But I normally leave it at around 90%. Let's take a few seconds to review some images in which I applied some of the light beams. And once again, it's very simple to be able to do this and manipulate the beam, get it exactly where you want it, and it makes a big difference in these images. Let's return to Photoshop. So in this image, let's say I wanted to create more light coming through here that would also cover up this sign and have some light beams shining down the side here. So let's choose a haze for the background there, the background haze. Click OK. Create. I'm going to reposition it. Now if we wanted more intensity, we could duplicate this layer, Control or Command J, and drop the opacity back of the second one. So now I want some light rays coming down the side of the tunnel there. So I'm going to scroll down here, pick the background flare. So there it is. I'm going to flip horizontal, update. Now I'm going to move it more into position here. I'm going to increase the size, update. And now I'm going to use the free transform tool, Control or Command T, and get it exactly where I want it. Enter. Now we want another one of these on the other side of the wall. Instead of going through all of that and remaking it, we can just duplicate this, Control or Command J, and drag it across to the other side. Control or Command T, if we right click in here, we can go down to flip horizontal and then just reposition it and maneuver it, get it exactly how we want it there. So we've got this how we want it. I'm now going to turn on this football player here and we're going to see how edge light works. Now when working with edge light, you want to be working with someone who's been removed from their background. He was removed using Studio Magic 1. Create. So we can see what we've got here. We've got a layer mask on there, so we can work with that. But right now I'm going to drop the width back of the edge light, and I'm also going to drop the intensity back. Update. And now if I select the layer mask, I've got a nice soft brush here, painting with black. We can remove that edge light from any part of the image where we don't want it, or just reduce it. So I'm just painting it away here. So I'm going to drop the width back a bit more here, go back to about 7, update. And here are some more examples of edge light. It's a great way to bring in subtle lighting effects onto the subject, and you've got complete control over it using the layer mask as well. And as I mentioned, you've got a comprehensive PDF manual that goes through all of the different lighting effects and how to use the lighting effects section, as well as all of the other sections. And there's a neat raise, beams and burst presets here for your reference. That concludes this tutorial, Chapter 5, Lighting Effects. I look forward to seeing you in the next tutorial, Chapter 6, Compositor. Thank you.